All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth. And Shalom to all you brothers out there and you good amount of sisters. All right, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Barakatham to you all. All right, now I wanted to kind of touch on what had happened to this brother right here. The brother, Voice of Jacob, serving Yahweh Shai. All right, a brother out there in Toronto, and he's he had this situation happen where this devil, all right, like you see on your screen, he rolled up on him, all right, and he he pulled out a gun which was empty, all right, and he basically the brother's life, for all intents and purposes, it was in danger, and I had just watched a lesson done on this by the elder Mawatazak of GMS California, Los Angeles, and it got me thinking, it kind of just got me thinking, we have the angels around us, but we still have to apply wisdom. That's what I'm going to title this. We have the angels around us, but we still have to apply wisdom. All right, because this brother, Voice of Jacob, serving Yahweh Shai, Salakia to the brother, if you happen to see this, I don't know your Hebrew name, so please forgive me. But brother, you let this guy get way too close to you. All right, he shouldn't have been chest to chest. All right, right about at this point, where I paused the video at. All right, you should have said, all right, hey, bro, back up. Look, I'm not here to be your buddy. Back up. All right, back the hell up, or I'm gonna do something to you. And you got to trust that Yahweh Shemel Shai, is going to be with you. You can't let him get that close to you. You got to think if I got to swing, all right, on this guy, then the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to make that punch connect and break his jaw. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude he had a real demonic spirit about him. All right. Now, whether he's a Gadite or an Irishman or whatever, and he's really a Jake, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He was posing a threat, to your life, So, like the elder Muatazak said, you can't let this guy get chest to chest with you and be talking about, I want to read you something from the scriptures. He doesn't want to hear the scriptures. He wants to do something to you, So you got to, apply wisdom, And it's not, of course, it's not to single the brother out, but it's just, something that happens, or something that happened, and being out there on the highways and the byways, we are, putting our lives on the line, and we are saying things that will get some of us killed, just to put it plainly, some of us will have to die for prophesying, all right? Because what are we saying here? We're saying that that the Messiah is going to come back and put these people in slavery, and we're gonna rule over them with a rod of iron, all right? And that America is going to get destroyed with nuclear missiles, all right? That right there is a high treason, all right? We're saying that this devil is going to go down, all right? And that many millions of them are going to die in nuclear hellfire, all right? And we're showing them in the Bible where it says this, all right? So the world is going to hate us, all right? Let me get that. Let me first get this. Excuse me. Ephesians 5:15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. All right. So that word circumspect, circum goes into circumference or a circle. All right. So around, and then spect is to see. Like a spectacle is something that you see. Sometimes they call glasses specs. All right. So circumspectly means you're looking around, okay? You're looking at your surroundings, all right? Spiritually and physically, Not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. These are evil days we're living in, all right? We're pretty much in we're in Jacob's trouble, and it's only going to pick up from here, all right? So this is the time when it's about to get, to the point where it's going to be too dangerous to go out there and preach, So when stuff like this happens, you gotta be like, hey, nah, back up, you gotta tell this guy to back up, and Yahweh Shem Shai came through and delivered the brother, and he came out on top, and put an ass whooping on this devil. All right, but it wasn't wise to let him get up right up in your grill, brother. And I'm not saying this to single you out, but it's true. You can't be letting somebody get that close to you, And I actually did this. I made the same mistake actually with the little Jake lady. She came up to me yesterday, and I let her get way too close to me, But the Spirit had her to where she backed up, And that was a little lady, She looked like she might have been, falling on hard times or whatever. But now I'm rebuking myself, because I should have told her, like, hey, look, back up a little bit, because she got real close to me at first, And even women might be, they might be sent to do something to you. All right, the Rothschilds know who we are. All right, the Rothschilds know that the prophets are on the scene, and that this is the end of their kingdom. All right, so brothers that sin this truth are targeted. All right, we are targeted individuals by the government. All right. Let's get this. World hath hated. All right, this is St. John 17 and 14. It says, let's start at 13. It says, the disciples in the world. All right, and we can apply this today to ourselves, because we are Mashayakim, followers of the Messiah, followers of Yahweh Shai. All right, John 17 and 13. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word. Excuse me. So Yahweh Shai gave us the word of the Most High Yahweh. All right, and the world hath hated them. All right, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So the world hates us. Okay, we're not popular dudes. We're not worldly dudes. All right, we're not gonna have the love of this world. All right, they're gonna hate us. All right, Yahweh Shai said, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets." It's gonna be our own people that come up against us. As well as Esau and the nations. So we have the angels around us, but we do have to apply wisdom. And be smart when we're out there on the highways and the byways. Speaking to myself as well, because I do go out there by myself. It's not ideal. It's the situation the Lord has for me at this moment. It is what it is. Won't get into it, but hey, that's just what it is. And the Lord does show us that He's with us. He does give us chariot sightings, and sometimes He even sends angels in the flesh to visit us and to show us, like, look, I'm with you. But at the same time, we do have to apply wisdom and just be alert, man. Circumspect. Be circumspect. Look around. Look at your surroundings. Know how to do some boxing. Have your cardio in decent shape. Be in the gym. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, because my cardio is crap right now. I've been going on jogs to get that back up. But yeah, you got to know how to throw 1-2, how to throw 3-4. All the punches and stuff. Do some boxing. All right, some cardio. I know we're all busy here in Babylon. Trying to get by and stuff. But you should be in decent shape. And I'm really not even talking to this brother at this point. Just in general. Because the Lord delivered this brother, but hey, you definitely shouldn't have been telling him you want to read to him when he's up in your face. Once you're up in somebody's face like that, now we're not talking about the Bible. Now we're talking about you getting the hell up out of my face. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick. A Thawadi Yahweh Shem Shai for delivering that brother. All praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. And I just wanted to go over that, because the world is going to hate us. All right, and we are targets. Okay, we are targets for what we do. All right, this is sedition. All right, this is we become enemies of the state. Okay, we've made prophetic claims against America, okay, against Western countries. We've made prophetic claims against the so-called white man, all right, and his power structure. We've made prophetic claims, all right, that the majority of people here in America are going to die a brutal death, all right. So we are not. It's not all sweet, okay. You know, people want to touch us, all right. We could get touched out here, all right. And that's true, all right. Brothers have had situations, you know, like I was watching, like I had said, you know, I was watching the Elder Mwatazak from GMS Los Angeles, and he said, you know, towards the end of his lesson, he said, you know, he was driving a truck, you know, big rig for a company, and when he basically got to his destination and he unloaded the goods, right, by the time he came back to his truck, somebody had made a very precise cut on his brakes, which were made out of they were encased in brass, you know, and it was like a laser cut on the brass, all right, to just barely get the brakes, you know, not fully snap them, but to get them to where they were like fucked up so that they couldn't fully brake, and that he would have killed himself and other people too coming back down the hill. You understand? So people, you know, these elites, they know that this is the truth, all right. They know that they are Esau, all right, and that's no joke, all right. They know that we are the Israelites. They know that that the birthright goes to us. They know that Yahushua is coming back to destroy their kingdom, all right. They know the prophecies. They are watching the prophets, all right, and they would sleep a lot better if we just were taken off the planet, okay. But it's not going to happen, all right, because the Lord is going to fulfill all his prophecies, all right, and he needs his prophets to proclaim them before he does it, all right. And, you know, just a personal testimony I've had, you know, you brothers know, you had those unmarked vehicles do those little drive-bys past your house where, you know, you walk out your front door or whatever, and then, you know, you see some headlights turn on, and then they pull up, they stop right in front of you. You could feel somebody in the car behind the tent staring at you. You staring back at them. They stopped right there like they're going to hop out and blow you away. All right, and then they speed off. And that's happened to me, you know. You brothers have had that happen to you too, you know, because they know where we live. They know who we are. They know our social security numbers. They know all our information. They know where we work. All right. They know where your mom lives. They know where your dad lives. All right. They know where you know, where you grew up. They know your best friend from kindergarten. All right. They know everything about you. All right. And you know, the only reason why they haven't been able to you know, necessarily get any of us is because, you know, the Lord has that hedge around us, but we still got to apply wisdom, you know. And that's another thing they did send a Jake, all right, to shows you how wicked our own people are, to go into and stab a brother, all right, in California, all right, and you know, by the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that brother survived, you know, but that shows you we are targets, all right. This is no joke, okay. And you know, that's it. You know, I just wanted to touch on that. You know, this is a very serious thing we're involved in. All right, this is spiritual warfare, and eventually, you know, Esau is going to take it carnal, you know, so that's why this is so serious, you know. So, you know, hey, you know, I just wanted to touch on that through the Spirit. You know, we do have the angels around us, but we have to apply wisdom, you know. So with that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Orcha Kodash. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And shalom to you brothers out there and your good amount of sisters. Shalom.